A new themed booster pack for Pokemon Pocket has been unveiled, and we're going to check it out right now on PokemonMeta.com. Here are all the cards that have been revealed, but let's first watch the quick little trailer. Let's do it. This is coming out on Tuesday. Wow. Please do not copyright strike me, Pokemon channel. I love you, please. Mew. We'll look at the cards on the site as they're being unveiled here. We'll wait until the end of the video. So no pausing. All right. Genome hacking. Nuts. The heck was that? You can't. Your opponent can't evolve their Pokemon. What? We got Floodgate Pokemon here. Okay. Available on Tuesday, December 17th. Let's now check out the new cards on the site. There's also a bunch of new information, new content that's been data mined and all that good stuff. So let's start this off right away with the very first card, Mew EX. This has Psyshot for 20, 130 health. It is an EX Pokemon, super boosted. Genome hacking. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon attacks and use it as this attack. This is absolutely insane. If we look at the tier list real quick on Pokemon Meta, you can see that Mewtwo EX is a top tier deck alongside Pikachu EX, but I do want to highlight Mewtwo specifically because what is this ability? It is 150 damage, cost 4, and Mewtwo EX has 150 health. So regular Mew counters Mewtwo. For just 3 energy, we're going to copy the side drive and smack the Mewtwo EX for 150 damage for 1 energy less. That is a complete counter. And it's at a healthy 130 health, as you could just Psyshot the opponent to death as they're trying to build up their Pokemon. So you poke for 20, and then genome hacking for their big ability. Now, the problem with the Mew EX is against Pikachu, which on the tier list is right now number 1. Pikachu is not going to be a good ability to copy because it's 30 damage for each of your benched electric-type Pokemon. So Pikachu EX will counter Mew, and Mew will counter Mewtwo, but probably be played in Mewtwo decks to help counter other Mewtwo decks. Now, I do want to skip on down to Tauros because this card counters Pikachu. Fighting Tackle. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a EX, this does 80 more damage. So if we were to compare this, let's just have both the top tier deck types here, the big 2 ones, Mewtwo and Pikachu. If we deal 120 to Mewtwo, is that good? That's not that good. It does not kill a Mewtwo, but the 120 Fighting Tackle is exactly enough damage to take out a Pikachu EX. So right away, we have a counter for Mewtwo EX and a counter for Pikachu EX in this new set. And the Tauros is just a basic. It's not an EX. It's nothing crazy. I think Tauros is going to be in so many decks. In fact, if you look at the tier list here, Charizard only jumped up in popularity once it started playing Arcanine EX. Why? It does 120 damage for 3 energy, which is a perfect punch, one-shot kill onto the Pikachu EX. And now, you don't need an Arcanine, you don't need to be fire. Everyone could now play a Tauros. The downside being that the Tauros is 2 retreat cost and at only 100 health, where the Arcanine itself is 150 health, but you have to evolve the Arcanine. A lot of people, they're playing 1 Growlithe and 2 Arcanine, where you're not going to have to worry about that with Tauros. What else do we have here? Aerodactyl. Your opponent can't play any Pokemon from their hand to evolve their active Pokemon. So what is the theme with this set so far? To counter the last set. That's what I'm thinking. So it's only evolving their active Pokemon. Does that affect Pikachu EX? Of course not. Does it affect Mewtwo? No, you evolve your Gardevoir into your bench. But your active Pokemon that you may be trying to evolve possibly would be your Charizard, right? I mean, unless you're evolving the Charizard in the bench and then whipping it out, you now cannot send out your Charmeleon early to then evolve into Charizard EX, which, honestly, now that I think about it, this is maybe not that great. They just can't play any Pokemon from their hand to evolve their active Pokemon. You know what I think this counters the most? If we go into the top cards page to see the most popular cards in order, if we scroll, wheezing. I think this will affect coughing and wheezing the most. I believe that is the most popular way to evolve an active Pokemon. You tell me if you agree, if you've been playing against a wheezing, coughing deck. Generally, the other decks, they're evolving on the bench before they whip out their big Pokemon, right? And yeah, so maybe Aerodactyl just counters the wheezing, coughing nonsense, which, what is that even being played in? It's being played Wigglytuff deck, Koga deck, Wigglytuff, Venusaur. Let's see on the tier list here. We have Wigglytuff EX at tier 3, Koga at tier 4. So I don't really see it countering the top 2 decks, but they're already inherently getting countered by the Tauros and the Mew EX. So maybe we don't need it for that. And Land Crush for 80 damage. This is enough to 2-shot a Mewtwo, 2-shot a Pikachu. If we look at something like, let's say Charizard maybe, how big is Charizard? Charizard is at 180. That is not enough to kill a Charizard. Also, one of the biggest things I'm hyped up for this set is there a way to search for Charizard? Can I search for a Charmeleon? Can I search for an evolved Pokemon? We have Pokeball to search for a basic Pokemon, but what about the evolved Pokemon? We'll get to that if there is anything. So I think we'll move on from Aerodactyl. 2-shot against most Pokemon, but most Pokemon also evolve in the bench, so the ability, I don't believe will that be that strong unless it's against a wheezing, coughing combo. Now, Marshadow. If any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn, this gains 60 more damage, boosted up to a 100 damage 2 energy ability. I guess the problem here is Pikachu's at 120 health, Mewtwo is at 150, and at being 120 health, if we were to boost up our attack with Giovanni, an extra 10 damage, it's only 110 damage. So the Marshadow not being strong enough to kill a Pikachu, I think is a bit concerning. But I don't think this is supposed to be your main win condition. It's just a follow-up wham bam thank you ma'am in a fighting deck. So what are fighting decks even being used with right now? Who's a fighting Pokemon up here on the latest, most popular topping? Marowak. So I guess we'd put in a Marowak deck, possibly. As we're building up our Marowak EX, we could Marshadow, clap them also. Yeah, something like this. If we could fit in the Marshadow follow-up 100 damage, maybe this would nicely boost up this deck for any Marowak enjoyers. Well, mostly also going to put it with your Aerodactyl also. Well, also the Aerodactyl has to evolve. I forgot that. Aerodactyl's not a base Pokemon. I think that makes the Aerodactyl it's so much more worse. Now, yeah, I don't know. I guess the Land Crush is quite a energy efficient ability, 80 damage. Maybe it does bounce on the end. I'm kind of holding out my cards for Aerodactyl. Right now, my initial impressions is the Mew X is nuts. The Tauros is nuts. The Marshadow, okay for follow-up. Now, Vaporeon, what is going on here? Wash out. As often as you like during your turn, you may move a water energy from one of your bench Pokemon to your active Pokemon. All right, so the water decks, they already have Misty and to randomly, possibly 50% chance to do absolutely nothing or add a ton of water energy to just straight up win the game. Would we actually play this in our Articuno deck, though? If we look on the tier, Starmie and Articuno EX, those are top tier decks here. Starmie doesn't really struggle with energy to begin with. It's only a 2 energy Hydro Splash. The Articuno, though, getting your 3 energy onto your Blizzard combo, dealing 10 damage to the bench plus 80 to the active Pokemon, I do think that this will be a nice boost potentially to Articuno, where initially right now, if they're not playing Greninja, they're just playing solo, but it looks like they're mostly at 85% playing Greninja. Are we replacing Greninja instead of a 3-stage Pokemon, evolve once, then evolve again? We just have Eevee into Vaporeon to instead move your energy onto the Articuno, where you're giving up the ability of Water Shuriken to deal 20 damage to a bench Pokemon. Possibly we're going to see a replacement on Greninja there for the Articuno deck. The Vaporeon itself, 60 damage for Wave Splash. Just comparing it to the Aerodactyl, 80 damage for 2 energy. This is definitely not meant to be your main active Pokemon. This is not your win condition, sure, but it's supposed to set up your win condition. This is similar to the Gardevoir, but I think the Gardevoir is better. Gardevoir is going to give you additional energy from the energy zone, and the Vaporeon is only going to give you energy that you already have on your field and be able to move it around as you like. Now we have Dedenne, what the heck? Thundershock for 10, 60 base health. Flip a coin if heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Stuff like this can be good for early game. If you can, as we saw, some of the damage thresholds, let's say we combo up, probably would not do this, but let's say we just did an electric and a fighting Pokemon. We have Marshadow. If the Dedenne is going to shock the opponent for, let's say, 20 damage and continually try to paralyze it, and then it dies, you then follow up with a Marshadow for 100 damage follow-up. You're going to be able to take out a Pikachu EX, do that combo. But again, I don't think we're mixing electric and fighting. But I guess that would be the mindset. This will be, I guess, possibly played in Pikachu EX. What are they being played in right now? They're playing the Blitzel and the Zebstrike. Zebstrike's going to deal 30 damage to the benched Pokemon is what you could do. You could do it to anything. Or this is just a meat shield at 70 health. Or they're going into Raichu. So I think this could definitely see a place in Pikachu EX because of that paralysis it inflicts. It could be randomly incredibly annoying. Now, what do we have here? Snivel. Vine Whip for 40, 70 HP. Okay, we're not going to be showing the evolved version, so it doesn't matter. Delmisse, Energy Whip, 20. If this Pokemon has at least 3 extra energy, this deals 70 more damage. 90 damage on a basic 100 health Pokemon. That generally, the giant basic Pokemon that are non-EX are going to be the colorless. So now we're starting to see some specific energy types having that high base health with a pretty interesting ability. It's going to be 4 energy just to deal 90 damage, though. Not sure I'm a fan of that, but I do like that. Does that mean this would not be played? I think this will be played a lot in grass decks, actually, because of the 100 health. Mostly that. And you know what you usually do when the opponent has a meat shield up? Ideally, their meat shield for you, that is that their retreat cost is too high to pull out whenever they want. Meaning they're stuck with a crappy meat shield and you're just not going to kill it because you don't want them to retreat for free. But the Delmisse is actually going to put a counter on you. It's going to be a clock where if you choose to ignore this because of the 100 health and you don't want that free retreat, it could decide to slowly build up the energy whip to be dealing 90 damage every single turn, essentially forcing you to deal with this. So in that aspect, when you don't think of a Pokemon as being the main win condition, I think this is actually insane. This is very powerful. And you also have in the grass decks the very powerful heal. And Executor EX, you can see here, they have this one, Erica. Heal for 50 damage. That is crazy. So I could definitely see this causing a lot of issues for many people. Gia the dog is here now. How'd you get in here? What are you doing? More lull. Got Ram for 20, but no evolved, so there's nothing to see here. Execute. Okay, we have a new base version of this. What's going on here? Execute right now does Seed Bomb for 20 at 50 health. And the Executor is going to be Tropical Swing, 40 damage more, 80 damage possibly for just 1 energy at a 160 health. Let's see if the base version is now better. 50 health, 50 health. And instead of having Seed Bomb, we have Growth Spurt. Take a grass energy from your energy zone and attach it to this Pokemon. What? You know, the Executor is already just 1 energy to deal its ability. I guess it just helps you retreat your Executor. If you want to build up its retreat cost, possibly. Is that better than poking for 20? I'm not so sure, but if being able to continually retreat back your 160 health Executor once it gets low, and then maybe stall until you draw into an Erica, that might be a way to play this, possibly. Okay, sure, be able to retreat a lot quicker. What else we have here? We have Larvesta. Combustion for 30. We have no evolve for it, so we don't care about that. Magmar, Fire Blast, discard 2 energy from this Pokemon, deal 80. We already have a Magmar in game. Let's see. Magmar is Magma Punch for 50, and now it's going to be Fire Blast for 80. That is way better. Is Magmar being played at all? It is being played in some Blaine decks. I don't think it is that popular, though. As you can see, Blaine right here. Here are some recent tournament tops and win streaks with the deck where they are playing Magmar. But if we go into the Blaine breakdown, let's see the actual percentage of Magmars being played recently. Not enough to even be shown on the stats here. But if you really want to see it, you could type in Magmar here, include decks that have the Magmar, make sure it is the correct one. And then here are the recent decks that are actually playing it. Now, I think this Magmar is going to be a lot more popular. as it deals 80 damage plus an additional 30, 110 damage on that Fire Blast. And if they're weak to fire, you're likely going to be dealing with some one-shots here. Okay, nice. I think that's a nice boost for Blaine decks. It definitely is. Now we have blue. What are you doing? During your opponent's next turn, all of your Pokemon take reduce 10 damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. So we were just talking about Tauros one-shotting a Pikachu, Mew-X one-shotting a Mewtwo, but the one-shot onto the Pikachu and Mewtwo, it's exactly their health. You're doing the exact amount of damage you need to kill them. So this will actually protect your Pokemon from getting one-shot by a Tauros, one-shot by a Mew. But then to counter the blue, you could also have a Giovanni. Giovanni's going to be able to give you that plus 10 damage back to overcome that 10 damage protection. Now, I don't know if we're going to have equip items in Pokemon Pocket, but there's an equip item similar to this where you equip it to your Pokemon. Maybe it'll come out in an early set, and it just straight up reduces all damage you take by 10. And this is kind of similar to that, but obviously not as good as the equip card would be forever reducing. Okay, reduced by 10. This can help a lot with counterplay. I think that this is possibly going to be a main inclusion to your Mewtwo and Pikachu decks because of the one-shot strategies. Now, what do we have here? During this turn, the retreat cost of your active Pokemon is 2 less. Wait, isn't this straight up power creeping a card? What is it? The speed, right? X speed. During this turn, the retreat cost is 1 less. So you may be wondering, what the heck is going on here? It's actually easily explained on why this card is so much more powerful. It's because it is a trainer supporter card where the X speed is an item. Generally, there will be items that do the exact same thing as a supporter card, but a lesser version, where it just looks, compared 1-to-1, the card is much worse, but items are not restricted by only 1 activation per turn. You could use multiple different items. If you use Leaf to reduce your retreat cost by 2, you now can't use the most popular card in the game, which is Professor Research. Even Professor Research into drawing into your Leaf, this is not going to save you in the time of need if you Professor Researched into it because it's not activatable. I would much rather Professor Research, draw into my X speed, use my X speed right then and there, return my Pokemon back, and then we're safe. So while this seems powerful, I think it actually will not see use possibly because of it conflicting with Professor Research. And at any point in the game, you drawing this, you would definitely want to use this over it. This will slow you down. I think so. So deceptively good, I think it will not be used. I think blue will be used. Let's see, new content. New solo battles and binder will also be added with this new set, confirming that a Pidgeot EX card will also be coming to the new pack. We just don't know what the card does. So if you like that binder, very nice. And then here are the expert solo battles, giving you some more pack hourglasses. All right, sure, nice. Upcoming campaign. To celebrate the Mythical Island, players will receive 12 pack hourglass items on December 17th, 18th, and 19th. There will also be a holiday countdown campaign beginning on the 24th to receive even more in-game gifts at no cost. Very nice. The official video. And let's see what people think about this. It looks like there's a yellow corner above Mew-X. That means we're getting an electric EX Pokemon as well, or a strong 3-diamond electric at least. I would think it would be the Eevee electric, right? We got Vaporeon, maybe, possibly. It's just speculation. We don't actually have any information on whatsoever. Looks promising. Aerodactyl, Dr. Doom liking that. Jing and Lupa, what? Mew EX in the new... Yeah, the Mew EX is nuts. Leaf seems like the best card so far. I think deceptively, though, it is a supporter. There's a chance we get the rest of the Snivy evolution line, which could be interesting since Greninja has the same action. Have seen some action? Yeah. All right, so there you go. That is the new pack. I appreciate you all for watching the video. Thank you very much, and I'll be streaming this new pack on the new pack release day. It should be on YouTube and on Twitch. I'll see you then. We are out.